Waiting for the Reservoir dolls, number 27 centimeters, Blitz Siren. P1MP, Busta Crimes. W01F, Call It a Wild. Number 33, Charlie Hustle. Number 18, Full Frontal Judity. 366, Jean Lane. 565, Glockness. 30-year Hopscotch. 1213, Knocking Jay. Number 31, Lady Hoo-Ha. K155, Lip Smacker. Number 4, Mouse. 1776, Rebel with a Cause. Number 8, Sassbot. 9mm, Shenanigans. 10 inches, Sproutin' a Tail. Number 77, Stank Girl, the Stench Wench. 50, The Heat. Number 54, Violet Fire. And number 6, Wipeout Scout. On the bench for the Res Dolls, we have Clara Path, Dutch Oven, and Pretty Reckless. Let's hear it for your 2015 Reservoir Dolls.
And introducing their opponents for tonight's bout, the team in green, the Green Machine. All right, so there's our quad squad. First off, we have number 18 feet, Alligator. Next up is number 120, Battle Frog. Followed up by 3 a.m., Booty Collins. Next is L5, Brokeback Jack. Number 796, Conan the Librarian. Number 6x9, Girl Friday. Number Oi, Gouda Riddance. Number 86 is Guacamole. Number I4I is Hammer Abbey. Next up is 1904 KY Julie. Number L22, Lunatrick. Number 15 is Mac the Knife. Number 918, Pied Typer. Number B52, Sequin Destroy Her. Number 313, Slayhound. Number 906, Super Youper. Number 350, Susie Homewrecker. And number 7, When Do You Wanna Die? They are supported on the bench by La Biblioreca, Kate Silver, and Dame Judy Bench. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2015 Quad Squad! You want mic for anthem?
We also have another group of people to introduce for tonight, your officials for this first bout between the Res Dolls and the Quad Squad, your skating refs. Head ref and IPR, Dude Bro, joined by Reaver on the inside. Your jam refs, Eddie Lizard and Bjorn. OPRs are Irma, Zdork, and Pollywog. Your alt ref, Johnny Zebra. Your NSOs for this first bout, Penalty Wrangler, Uno Mas. Penalty Tracker, Show Nuff. On the whiteboard, Modus Pones. Box Manager, Keister Bunny, joined by Brazzle Dazzle and Irene Adler. Scorekeepers, A. Gru and Frida Wheel. On the scoreboard, Dread Gazebo. Jam Timer, Ms. Informed. Lineup trackers, Mr. Welch and Thaco. Spotters, Chaotic Neutral and Roadblock. And Alt NSO, Captain Emo. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start tonight's bout, we ask all those who are able to please stand. And gentlemen, please remove your hats as we honor America and those defending our freedom with our national anthem. Tonight, singing the national anthem, please welcome Megan Rose.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, yeah, and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much to Megan Rose. Everybody will be able to catch her at the intermission between our bout 1 and 2 for another little taste of her music. For now, down to the track as our skaters are lining up for the first jam.
Again, in our first bout tonight, the Reservoir Dolls taking on the Quad Squad. And the swooping whistle means we are about to start. And the whistle from Misinformed means we are underway.
Yep. Looks like for this first jam, we have Hammer Abby jamming for the Quad Squad with Blitz Siren jamming for the Res Dolls.
And it's not taking long to get a couple of penalties called. We've got, it looks like 2 going into the box right away for the Res Dolls.
But Hammer Abby does get through the pack on her scoring pass, calling off the jam, picking up a cool 4 points for her team. No points for the Reservoir Dolls.
The Reservoir Dolls did have a couple of their skaters go to the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box, though. It looks like Mouse and Full Frontal Judity are going to start the jam. So the Reservoir Dolls will be skating short.
All right, looks like for this next jam, we have Sequin Destroy Her jamming for the Quad Squad. with Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Res Dolls.
And lead jam earned by Sequin Destroyer. We have a forearm penalty being called out in turn 2. And that jam called off by Sequin Destroyer, earning a full 5 points. The Mini of Madison Grand Slam for the Quad Squad.
That does bring our score total to Quad Squad 9, Reservoir Dolls 0, with only 2 minutes gone by.
Both teams with 1 in the penalty box as we start this next jam. Coming from the Plan B jammer line.
Looks like we got Sprout and a Tail for the Reservoir Dolls on the jammer line, up against little Susie Homewrecker for the Quad Squad.
Sprout getting through quick, taking a lead jam for the Res Dolls. Looks like Susie Homewrecker is still wrestling with the Res Dolls blockers back in the pack.
And Allie Gator getting sent to the penalty box with the forearm call, the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box here tonight. Susie Homewrecker having cleared the pack, but Sprout and a Tail calls off the jam. 4 points. The first points on the board for the Res Dolls, 9-4, as we're coming to 3 minutes in.
Well, it looks like we have... Who's jamming up?
We have Wipeout Scout on the jam for the Res Dolls going up against Sequin Destroyer off of the Plan B jammer line. Lead jam earned by Sequin Destroyer for the Quad Squad, trying to add on to this early lead.
Looks like Scout is through the pack and working on getting on her way to a scoring pass.
We've got Guacamole reporting
and
to the
she
penalty
skips
box.
around the end in the inside. Picking up 4 points for the Res Dolls.
And 4 points also earned for the Quad Squad.
See, that has brought our score to Quad Squad 13, Reservoir Dolls 8, with 26 minutes remaining in the half. Looks like for this jam, we have Hammer Abby jamming for the Quad Squad. And Lady Hoo-Ha is jamming for the Reservoir Dolls.
And Hammer Abby dives down to the inside, gets through to lead jam status for the Quad Squad.
She is followed closely by Lady Hoo-Ha. We'll see how these jammers can contend with the blockers in the pack. Hammer collides with the Res Dolls wall and calls off the jam. No points scored by either team that jam.
That was a very effective chase made by Lady Hoo-Ha, forcing Hammer to call off the jam before she could get any points onto the board for the Quad Squad.
Now on the Plan B jammer line, it looks like we've got Shenanigans of the Reservoir Dolls. She's going up against Lunatrick of the Quad Squad. Lunatrick, a rookie on the Quad Squad this year, fighting her way against the Reservoir Dolls. Tight wall in the front there.
And lead jam earned by Lunatrick, with the Res Dolls jammer Shenanigans hot on her skate heels. We have a forearm penalty being issued to Allie Gator right at the end of the jam.
Yeah, Allie played a nice little bit of offense there to allow Lunatrick to get through and score a few more points for the Quad Squad.
On the Plan B jammer line, it's B52 Sequin Destroyer jamming for the Quad Squad, going up against
Looks like that's Mouse up for the Res Dolls.
Mouse with the highly recognizable pigtails on the track.
Those are her signature pigtails. Took a little bit of a spill as she was trying to get to the front of the pack there. Did let Sequin Destroy Her pull lead jam on that.
A little bit of taunting from Mouse as they both got through and that jam called off. Mouse looking for that challenge to see who could get back to the pack first.
Sequin Destroy Her not allowing her to score any more points. Meanwhile, it looks like two quad squads sit in the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box. Monkey Bar Gym, where Derby girls work out to be strong enough for roller derby.
And it looks like we have a Triple M 2-minute promise official timeout being called. That gives us a moment to recognize some of our sponsors here tonight.
That's right. We want to recognize Ale Asylum. Ale Asylum, brewed and bottled in Madison, fermented insanity. Also, Ameriprint Apparel, custom screen printing and embroidery. Located in Sun Prairie, Ameriprint Apparel is one of our sponsors that helps us produce our beautiful merchandise. Head on over to the merchandise table, get some merch for yourself, get a shout out in the box there. We'll be able to say the shout out over the microphone here.
Just
some happy birthday or just love for any of your derby.
Just please remember this is a family environment. We will read your shout out as long as it's not inappropriate.
This evening's outstanding music is provided by Tony with Cool Entertainment. If you ever want a DJ, lighting, or a badass mixtape, just search Cool Entertainment. That's KUHL entertainment.com. Also tonight, our after party will be held at Plan B, Madison's favorite gay bar and dance club. Be out, be proud, just be. Join us there after the bout tonight. There will be a pillow fight. I see.
Sounds like this official timeout is due to some computer software tracking issues. So we're just working on getting that worked out, and we'll get back to the action as soon as that little kink is worked out.
And of course, we have some great support crew here tonight, some of the best support crew in the business working on these technical issues.
I believe Z-Dork has skated in over 200 bouts.
That is true.
Some nice entertainment by Lady Hoo-Ha on the track there. Derby girls have to be acrobatic as well as agile, and Lady Hoo-Ha definitely demonstrates that for us all. And now back to the action.
Okay, so it looks like for this jam, we have Hammer Abbey up for the quad, jamming for the quad squad, and Hopscotch is up for the Res Dolls.
The quad squad starting with 2 in the box.
Hopscotch wasting no time getting to the front of the pack and claiming lead jam for her team. Hammer Abbey still working against Lady Hoo-Ha and Busta Crimes back in the pack. Looks like she got knocked out and is being recycled to the back. That is due to once an opposing skater knocks you out of bounds, you must come back in bounds behind them. Otherwise, you get a cut penalty and get a 30-second trip to the box.
And what you'll often see with that is the skater that gets knocked out, rather than take a chance on in case they missed who knocked them out, often they will recycle all the way to the back of the pack, come in behind everybody just to be safe.
Speaking of track cut penalties, it looks like number 77, Stank Girl, the Stench Wench, has picked one up for herself.
That puts a heavily loaded penalty box side for the Res Dolls right now. As it looks like 2 of them got released just before the end of jam whistle there. As we check the scoreboard, just about 8 minutes in, and we've got a 1-point game, 21-20 for the quad squad. Any closer and we'd be tied.
It is can't get much closer than that without a tie. All right, so looking at this jam, it looks like we have Sequin Destroy Her jamming for the quad squad with Sproutin' a Tail jamming for the Res Dolls.
It looks like Sproutin' a Tail trying to work around the outside, and she does, getting through to lead jam status for the Res Dolls.
Looks like Sequin Destroyer had been recycled to the back of the pack by Sassbot. She has since broken through and will begin making her scoring pass.
Sprout and a tail meeting some heavy resistance from the blocking wall from the Quad Squad. Calls it off, earning 3 points for the Resdolls. Ladies and gentlemen, that gives us a lead change. Drink one if you got them. 23-21 for the Resdolls.
Like we have Mouse jamming for the Resdolls and for this jam. Looks like Luna Trick is up for the Quad Squad. Mouse wasting no time getting past those Quad Squad blockers, taking lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
We have a multiplayer block being assessed. We've got one of the Resdolls coming to the box.
Ooh! It's like a bit of a collision on the fourth turn there. One of the fun things about playing here on polished concrete is it's very, very slippery. We do our best to rosin the track to get a little more traction, but still slick.
Not to mention you're trying to slide into that other blocker and take her out. So looks like we have a timeout on the track.
An official timeout sponsored tonight, the Triple M 2-minute promise timeout. It looks like they might be discussing the penalties that occurred right at the end of that jam. I did hear a misconduct being assessed as one of those penalties.
Well, we'll see at our what our officials have to say about that. We'll be sure to update you as soon as we receive any updates.
Taking a look at some of the numbers thus far for the Resdolls. Wipeout Scout leading the way with 8 jammer points. Hammer Abby with 10 points for the Quad Squad, as it looks like we're set to go back to action. Speaking of Hammer Abby, she is on the track to jam for the Quad Squad from the Plan B jammer line, with the Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Resdolls. And with that start, we have a false start penalty issued to Hammer Abby. She will go to the box, and that will lead to the power jam for Lady Hoo-Ha and the Resdolls.
With that, she does pick up a Mini of Madison Grand Slam, since she does get points for passing any of the opposing skaters in the penalty box.
Looks like Quad Squad's got Battle Frog out there on the track, now joined by 2 of their blockers coming in from the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box. Lady Hoo-Ha is just making her way around as they line up there to try to stop her. Oh, fighting her way through, knocked down, but she gets right back up, and Lady Hoo-Ha is around for another 5 points.
But Hammer Abby has been released from the penalty box. Oh. It's like quite the rough and tumble in the pack at that fourth turn again.
And we have both jammers coming into the penalty box. We'll get a very quick jammer do-si-do here.
Yep.
As Lady Hoo-Ha is back out and Hammer Abby is back out. We will skate the full 2 minutes on this jam.
Well, however, it looks like there are only about 30 seconds left in that.
Both teams lining up a tight defense, trying to keep the other jammer back. Working together is what's going to hold them back here.
And we get a low block assessed to Lady Hoo-Ha. She'll get sent to the box. Guacamole getting called with a forearm. And the Quad Squad will go on the power jam.
Hammer Abby being recycled to the back, but then the jam ends at its natural conclusion.
Wow, quite a lot of back and forth so far in this bout. Looks like right now our score is sitting at Reservoir Dolls 42, Quad Squad 21, with about 17 minutes and 45 seconds left in the half.
We have an official timeout. It looks like a request for an
think
official
the Reservoir
review by the Resdolls.
And at this time, I'd like to announce or give a little bit of kudos to some of our sponsors. We have Badger Bowl. Next time you're out, stop off at Badger Bowl, your hometown entertainment destination. Badger Bowl offers live bands, bowling, a full-service bar, restaurant, and catering, so there's something for everyone at Badger Bowl. Also, Club Inferno. Club Inferno at 1718 Commercial Avenue, Madison's hottest club. And Cooper's Tavern, craft beer, rustic food on the square. Fast Forward is also another one of our sponsors. Fast Forward Skate Center. Come discover the fun of roller skating. Mentioning Fast Forward gives me a chance to let you all know that we will be having some halftime shows and a little halftime game for the audience. During the second bout, we'll be offering up some prizes sponsored and donated by Fast Forward Skate Center. So stick around for the scavenger hunt during the second bout.
Taking a look at some of our jammer stats thus far, the Resdolls led by Lady Hoo-Ha with 10 points on 4 jams. The other jammers have been fairly well scattered around through the skaters. For the quad squad, Hammer Abby with 10 points on 5 jams. It looks like we're getting some resolution with the captains on this official review. Again, your official timeout, the Triple M 2-minute promise timeout.
And of course, we would like to remind you again, if you are down by the merch table, please, please stop by, give them $1. That'll go right to our bout charity, the Flow, and that will let you give us a shout out that we can read off here and either cheer on your favorite skater or give a shout out to one of your favorite Derby fans. Whatever you please, so long as it's family friendly.
Speaking of family friendly, the official review that was just requested by the Resdolls was a question as to whether one of the quad squad skaters had used some vulgar language toward the Resdolls bench. It was not picked up and no penalty was called.
Well then, suppose that means we will be getting back to the action relatively shortly.
In just a moment. Again, with that review, since it was denied, the Resdolls do spend their official review for this half. Per the rules, if the review had been upheld, they would retain and get a second review in the half.
And let's hear a little bit from the audience. Who here is cheering on the Reservoir Dolls this evening? Let them hear ya. And how many Quad Squad fans do we have out there? Ah, I hear a little bit more for the Quad Squad. Help activate your team here. We also want to give some more props to our sponsors. Hinckley Design and Production, always at turn 1 and turn 4. Hinckley Productions. They're proudly filming Mad Rollin' Dolls Roller Derby since 2008. They film all of our bouts, edit our commercials, and provide live video streaming for major tournaments. Please consider Hinckley Productions for your next video project. HinkleyProductions.com.
Looks like we also have a little bit of track repair going on right now.
Got to make sure those skaters are safe. That's what our referees do such a wonderful job of here, is make sure that safety and the rules are followed.
After all, rules rule.
Rules do rule. You can check out information at our rules table where you entered. You can also get $10 tickets for our next bout, so check that out. The whistle does signify that it looks like we're going to be back to the action.
Well, for those of you who may have forgotten, the current score is Reservoir Dolls 41, Quad Squad 21. The bout has begun with Sequin Destroyer taking lead jam for the quad squad.
She is starting on the power jam with Lady Hoo-Ha still serving time in the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box.
That is a fantastic situation for the quad squad to be in, getting a power jam. They certainly need it when they're down points.
And the Mini of Madison 5-point grand slam earned by Sequin Destroyer trying to chip away at the Resdolls' lead.
Violet Fire and Glockness trying to slow down Sequin Destroy her there.
It looks like she gets through for another 5-point grand slam, adding to the quad squad total now sitting at, it looks like 41-31 with under 17 minutes remaining in this first half of play.
Most definitely still anybody's game. This is a very close bout so far.
There is a lot of time left in this one. Anything can happen. Get a couple of power jams and anything can happen here.
Yeah, we'll see how the penalty box treats these teams. The Monkey Bar Gym penalty box. One bad trip there can spell doom.
It looks like we have a new jammer, Susie Homewrecker, getting into lead jam status for the quad squad.
Like that's Blitz Siren for the Reservoir Dolls, close on her heels.
I stand correct. That is the second jam for Susie Homewrecker. She calls off the jam, getting a 1 point for the quad squad while shutting out the Res Dolls on that jam, making it a 9-point difference, 41-32.
It's definitely a good strategy at this point to call off that jam before the opposing team has an opportunity to score any points.
There's a lot of strategy in jamming. You're trying to get points for yourself, but you want to try to keep that other team off the board as much as possible.
That is true.
Track awareness means a lot when you're out there on the jam.
Yep, it's important to be looking at your teammates and checking on your bench. Back to the action, we have Hopscotch jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, having just taken lead jam. It looks like we have Luna Trick jamming for the quad squad. Oh, it looks like Luna Trick has picked up a penalty. So she will be spending 30 seconds in the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box, giving the Reservoir Dolls a power jam.
And a 5-point Mini of Madison grand slam earned by Hopscotch as she goes back to work on the pack, gets through for another 5-point grand slam.
That's a Madison of Mini grand slam. Check out Mini of Madison, located in the corner. And watch Hopscotch get another grand slam.
And it looks like Luna Trick getting sprung from the box, as is Slayhound back on the track, leaving just one in the box for the quad squad. And it looks like another 5-point Mini of Madison grand slam earned by Hopscotch, adding on to the Resdolls' lead.
It's like Luna Trick being held back by Busta Crimes, Call It a Wild, and it looked like that was Lady Hoo-Ha. Lady Hoo-Ha recycling her to the back of the pack.
We have a timeout being called by the quad squad with 14:01 remaining in this first half. Your new score, the Reservoir Dolls 62 to the quad squad's 32.
And that gives me some time here now to announce a couple shout outs here. I've got one shout out to all my roller derby sisters. I love you and the sport you play so well. That's great.
That's very nice.
Another shout out here, Res Dolls United. Win back to back to back. All right, if you have a shout out, a message you want to get out to the crowd, out to one of the teams, head on over to the merch table and get yourself a shout out. A portion of those proceeds go to our friends of the Lower Wisconsin Riverway. Take a trip over to the Mini of Madison tent there and see Flo right next door. Check out our wonderful sponsors this evening.
Looks like the team timeout ended, but we have now moved into a Triple M 2-minute promise official timeout.
During During this official timeout, I'd like to acknowledge Anala Salon and Spa, locations at Hilldale and on Atwood Avenue. Derby-owned shop, and you might even get your hair cut by the Unholy's own Blanche Devereaux.
And we did have an official review by the Quad Squad requesting a review of the pack destruction penalty against Alligator. That penalty was not overturned. As we look at the board, the virtual whiteboard behind the penalty box right now, Alligator sitting at 5 penalties for the game.
All right, looks like our timeouts have ended. For this jam, we have Sequin Destroy Her up for the Quad Squad with Sprout and a Tail jamming for the Res Dolls.
And that whistle puts us back into action. Both teams working on that wall, but Sprout and a Tail breaking right through the middle to lead jam status for the Res Dolls.
Sequin Destroy Her was close behind her, but it looks like she got a forearm penalty. So she'll be taking a trip to the box, making a power jam for Sprout and a Tail and the Res Dolls.
Who very quickly records the 5-point Mini of Madison Grand Slam, adding 5 more points to the total for the Res Dolls.
Sprout ramming up hard against that Quad Squad wall, taking a little bit of a spill, but back in the action. She does get through, taking another 5 points with a Mini of Madison Grand Slam.
Looks like we had a forearm penalty assessed to Guacamole, getting sent to the penalty box for the Quad Squad. Meanwhile, Sprout and a Tail going to work, gets another 5-point Mini of Madison Grand Slam for the Res Dolls.
Sequin Destroy Her is out of the box and was making a round. Had a little bit of trouble there with one of the Res Dolls blockers. Jam is called, brings our score to Reservoir Dolls 80, Quad Squad 32, with just under 13 minutes remaining in the half.
It looks like we have an official timeout. The Triple M 2-minute promise timeout being called, looks like to sort out a scoring question real quickly. Shouldn't take long and we'll get back to action.
Just adjusting 1 point on the scoreboard. Quad Squad is at 32 points, Reservoir Dolls at 81.
Timeout is over. Jam has begun. Mouse has taken lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Looks like we have little Susie Homewrecker jamming for the Quad Squad.
And it looks like we have a track cut being assessed to Mouse, which will put the Quad Squad on the power jam, trying to cut into this Res Dolls lead.
Little Susie Homewrecker on the Quad Squad skating this power jam. She is not lead jammer, so this jam will go for 2 minutes.
Susie Homewrecker getting past that last line of defense of Jean Lane and Wipeout Scout for the 5-point Mini of Madison Grand Slam. Looks like we have 2 of the Quad Squad getting sent to the penalty box. I heard a forearm and a pack destruction in there, I believe.
Definitely a perfect time for Mouse to get out of the penalty box and get it back around to start scoring some points.
Reservoir Doll blockers, Glock Nest, Wipeout Scout, and Blitz Siren out there holding Susie Homewrecker.
We have another 5-point Mini of Madison Grand Slam being scored by Mouse, who gets forced out of bounds. She'll have to recycle behind the Quad Squad skaters, who are doing a great job in retreat. As Mouse re-enters the track legally and quickly gets through for the 5-point Mini of Madison Grand Slam.
Looks like all skaters have been released from the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box, so both packs are at full strength.
Well, it sounds like that didn't last long because it looks like we have a forearm penalty being assessed. The announcer jinx was put on.
Oh, why do I even say things? Just ruin everything.
I've thought it a couple of times and hadn't even had the time to say it before a whistle blew.
I just really hope that that Mouse doesn't come after me after the bout for cursing her that way.
On the Plan B jammer line, Hammer Abby going for the quad squad. Looks like she's going up against Lady Hoo-Ha for the Res Dolls. We've got a multiplayer block being assessed to Hopscotch. And we have a cutting penalty being assessed to Hammer Abby. That will put the Res Dolls on the Power Jam. And the lead jam being earned by Lady Hoo-Ha.
Lady Hoo-Ha getting through the pack, picking up another 5 points with a Mini of Madison Grand Slam.
She did a very nice job keeping those outside wheels just inside of the tape, getting around that last blocker.
Well, she is very nimble and very aware of where her skates are in relation to the edge of the track.
And another 5-point Mini of Madison Grand Slam. This time she tries the inside, but gets forced out. She'll have to recycle behind the pack. Meanwhile, we get a track cut being assessed to Hammer Abby. She will have to go back to the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box. Though it looks like she was allowed to stay on the track. They might have rescinded that penalty.
We'll see. It looks like a timeout has been called by the quad squad.
And during this timeout, I have some additional shout-outs I'd like to read to the audience. To the NSOs, the unsung heroes and heroines of Derby. You rule. Yeah, for the NSOs.
I love that shout out.
That was Northern. That was for you, Super Youper. Oh, yeah. We've also got another shout-out to Penny and Molly. Had a spare $1 and spending it to make the announcers remind you you are awesome and loved seemed like a good way to spend it. That's right, it does. Thank you to Penny and Molly. Everybody else that has a spare $1, you want to remind somebody out there that they're special, feel free to get over to the merchandise table, sponsor or purchase a shout out, and we'll read that on the mic.
I just saw a sign in the backstretch. You do that reffin' voodoo.
Ooh, that's I love that rep. Ooh, that's good.
UDO, you do that reffin' voodoo that you do so well.
Oh, yeah. All right. Timeout's over. Back to the action. So we have Battle Frog jamming for the quad squad with Shenanigans up for the Res Dolls.
Got some hard hitting taking place on the track right now. And with the
Battle Frog takes lead jam for the quad squad. Shenanigans is hot on her tail, though. Jam was called with no points scored. Score remains Reservoir Dolls 114, Quad Squad 40. We've got about just under 8 minutes left in this half. Still plenty of time left for the Quad Squad to grant it back. Do we believe that they can do this, Quad Squad fans? Let's hear it for the Quad Squad.
5 seconds displayed in the air coming off of the Plan B jammer line. Looks like we have Sequin Destroyer going for the Quad Squad, taking on Wipeout Scout for the Res Dolls.
Both jammers still fighting their way through the pack after almost a half track.
Both jammers through. Sequin Destroyer taking lead jam. Jammers are neck and neck approaching the pack. So Sequin calls it off. better to score no points yourself while preventing your opponent from scoring any points.
So as we're winding our way toward the end of the first half, we have some halftime entertainment coming up for us.
That's right, we do. At halftime, we'll have the Society for Creative Anachronism. They're an international organization dedicated to researching and recreating the arts and skills of pre-17th century Europe. They'll be performing for us at this halftime. But now, back to the action.
And on the track, we have Hopscotch jamming for the Resdolls. She's going up against Hammer Abby. Hammer Abby getting lead jam for the Quad Squad.
Looks like Hopscotch is still fighting against the Quad Squad blockers back in the pack. Hammer Abby taking a quick jump on the inside, picking up 5 points for a Mini of Madison Grand Slam.
We have one blocker for each team currently sitting in the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box. Girl Friday for the Quad Squad and Busta Crimes, each serving that 30-second reflection on what they've done. Hammer Abby calling off the jam before Hopscotch could re-engage.
We got a shout out here. Rah, rah, rah. D-E-B, rah. I think that spells Deb. Rah, rah, rah. D-E-B, rah. Also, another shout out. Roger's been missing Lil Miss. So you may also have noticed Lil Miss is no longer skating for the Quad Squad this season. We've got a bunch of new skaters out there for the Quad Squad.
The jam has resumed. We have Booty Collins jamming for the Quad Squad. Looks like Sprout Natal jamming for the Resdolls. And Sprout has taken lead jam for the Resdolls, but Booty Collins is right behind her.
This is going to be fun as they are racing back to the pack to see who can do what.
Both jammers knocked outside, recycled to the back. Sprout Natal took a little longer to get up, called off the jam there to avoid any further damage being done by the Quad Squad. I believe that brings our score to 117 Reservoir Dolls, 50 for the Quad Squad with 4 minutes remaining in the half.
From the Plan B jammer line, Luna Trick getting set to go to work for the Quad Squad, taking on Blitz Siren for the Resdolls. That whistle puts us back into action.
Blitz Siren sneaking around the outside to take lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
She was using her strength to push back to keep from being forced to the outside. Managed to stay in to get that lead jam status.
Let's see, Blitz Siren is now working her way through the pack for her scoring pass as Luna Trick is still working on her initial one.
Looks like we have a forearm penalty being issued to Luna Trick, sending her to the penalty box. That'll put the Resdolls on the power jam.
You got it, girl, you got it.
It looks like a low block being assessed to Blitz Siren. That'll send her to the penalty box. Again, that will spring Luna Trick back onto the track.
Yeah, we certainly do not want a jammerless jam. Then nothing would happen.
A little jammer switcheroo there.
Again, with the rules, if one jammer is in the box and the other jammer gets sent in, the first jammer is sprung. The second jammer serves only the time that the first jammer served, at least in that pair of penalties.
Looks like Luna Trick has just picked up a track cut penalty herself. This releases Blitz Siren.
And with 15 seconds left in this jam, we'll see just what Blitz Siren is able to do. She's fighting the 4 formidable blockers of the Quad Squad. with Slayhound, When Do You Want to Die, Conan the Librarian, and Sequin Destroyer. And that jam ends with a 5-point Mini of Madison Grand Slam earned by Blitz Siren. So we're under 2 minutes to go with your score 122-50, the Res Dolls in the lead.
Looks like for this next jam, we will have Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Res Dolls with Luna Trick jamming for the Quad Squad. However, she is still serving out her penalty in the penalty box. So this starts off as a power jam for the Res Dolls.
And we see some fierce offensive blocking being executed by the Res Dolls, springing Lady Hoo-Ha, getting lead jam status.
Luna Trick has been released from the box and has made it through the pack. However, she now goes back to the penalty box for a back block penalty.
And so the Res Dolls in control of this jam with 48 seconds remaining. We'll see how long they skate this out. Again, if the period clock runs out, the jam clock will supersede it. So as long as the jam remains active, we will remain skating. Another 5-point Mini of Madison Grand Slam earned by Lady Hoo-Ha for the Res Dolls. As Luna Trick is freed from the box. And with that, Lady Hoo-Ha will call off the jam with another 5-point Mini of Madison Grand Slam. And as the seconds tick down to 1, that will bring us to the end of the first half with your score on the board, the Reservoir Dolls 137, the Quad Squad 50. For the Quaddies, we've got a couple of skaters in some penalty trouble. Alligator and Guacamole showing 5 penalties for the Quad Squad. Luna Trick with 4. Also, When Do You Want to Die with 4. On the Res Dolls side, Busta Crimes having 4 penalties in the first half. No other skaters with more than 3. As I understand it, we had 57 penalties called in that first half of play.
That is a lot of penalties to rack up in the first half.
That's
right.
right.
We start getting into the danger of perhaps some skaters fouling out.
Yep.
Because again, 7 penalties removes you from the remainder of the game.
Hopefully our skaters with a high number of penalties will perhaps dial it back, or
They got to clean it up or they're going to be removed from the game.
Yep, gotta watch to make sure they're not called out on anything inappropriate,
and
untoward.
You figure that those skaters and the bench coaches are probably very well aware of that fact, and they're going to advise them, if you will, on their conduct for the remainder of the game.
Oh, no doubt.
And we've got a few shout outs to shout out to you all before the second period gets started. Happy birthday to Jess from your Beta Sigma Phi sister. Happy birthday, Jess. And also from Tipsy, she says, hey, quit putting my fantasy league picks up against each other. Love Tipsy. That's right, folks, you can play fantasy derby picks. Check it out on our website, madrollindolls.com. You can put together your own fantasy roller derby team.
Fantasy roller derby. I don't think I'm smart enough to keep up with that.
Well, if you're a stats nerd, S is right up your alley.
That is true.
Looks like we will be getting started pretty shortly here. Please, if you have a moment, go stop by the merch table, give $1. The donation goes to our charity, Flow, and will allow you to write a shout out to be read out on the microphone.
And be sure to pick up your favorite merch for your favorite teams and support Mad Rollin' Dolls. We start the second half with Shenanigans jamming for the Res Dolls up against Sequin Destroyer, earning lead jam status for the Quad Squad.
Looks like Shenanigans is out of the pack behind her. Sequin's got a good lead on her, though, making her way through the pack. Going to come up against the Resdoll blockers, call off the jam. Looks like 3 points picked up by the Quad Squad. No points for the Resdolls.
And that's a good start. You've got to start somewhere when you're trailing coming out of halftime. Chip away a little bit here, a little bit there. Try to get back into the game.
Yep, that is the way to do it.
From the Plan B jammer line, Hammer Abbey getting set to go back to work for the Quad Squad, going up against Mouse for the Resdolls. That whistle puts us back underway.
Hammer Abbey cutting around the outside really quickly to take lead jam, but Mouse is hot on her heels as both jammers approach the pack. Wow, Hammer Abbey with an attempted apex jump there, trying to jump the inside of the track, called off the jam when she hit the ground. Looks like she picked up 2 points on that jam.
And Mouse earning 3 points for the Resdolls. That's one of those timing plays where you're, again, trying to get your scoring done and get that jam called off before the opposing jammer can engage with your blockers.
That does bring us to Reservoir Dolls 140, Quad Squad 55 at the start of this next jam.
From the Plan B jammer line, sprouting a tail once again. Well, no, that is Lady Hoo-Ha. The computer lied to me.
Oh, you can't trust computers, man.
I should know. That kind of is my profession.
Looks like Susie Homewrecker is jamming for the Quad Squad, still fighting against Busta Crimes and Stank Girl the Stench Wench, and looks like Hopscotch as well for a strong Reservoir Dolls defense.
And the 5 points Mini of Madison Grand Slam being earned by Lady Hoo-Ha for the Resdolls.
Oh, Lady Hoo-Ha showing off her agility again, just barely hopping around the outside to pass another 5 skaters for another 5 points for another Mini of Madison Grand Slam.
And it looks like we had a star pass. Gives us the opportunity to recognize WORT Back Porch Radio sponsoring the star pass tonight. Star being handed off to Battle Frog. But before she can engage the pack, the jam being called off. As we're 3 minutes into the second half, a 100-point difference, 155 to 55 for the Resdolls.
All right, looks like this jam we have Sproutin' a Tail jamming for the Resdolls with Booty Collins up for the Quad Squad. Both jammers battling away in the pack, trying to get out first to take that lead jam, and it looks like it's going to be Sproutin' a Tail for the Resdolls.
We had a track cut issued to Pied Typer. She will go to the monkey bar gym penalty box, serve 30 seconds.
Looks like Booty Collins still working her way through the pack. Getting out. Sprout was right there with her, but ended up taking a little bit of a fall. Gonna call off the jam.
Booty Collins had managed to get free on her initial pass.
And I got a quick shout out here to Marge. Happy birthday, Marge. Love Mr. Carlson. I also have one for Mr. Carlson. Good luck with your career as a photojournalist, Mr. Carlson. Maybe signed by him or maybe to him.
The next jam has begun. We have Hammer Abbey up jamming for the Quad Squad with Blitz Siren jamming for the Resdolls. Blitz Siren has just been recycled back to the back of the pack. Looks like by little Susie Homewrecker, with Hammer Abbey taking lead jam for the Quad Squad.
Blitz Siren managing to reestablish her position on the track, has gotten through on her initial pass. Oh, a heavy hit delivered by Jean Lane. as Hammer Abbey calls off that jam, earning 4 points for the Quad Squad. And it looks like 2 points earned for the Res Dolls.
Yep. Now
Now making it 162-59 with 24 and a half minutes remaining in this game. No, I'm still not used to calling it a game instead of a bout.
Oh, it'll always be about in my heart.
From the Plan B Jammer Line, Sequin Destroyer going back to work for the Quad Squad. She's matched up against Hopscotch for the Res Dolls.
Looks like Sequin Destroyer got called out on a track cut penalty. She will be spending 30 seconds in the box, making this a power jam for the Res Dolls. Hopscotch working away against the wall of green with the Quad Squad.
The blocking effort by Battle Frog, Alligator, Slayhound, and Girl Friday for the Quad Squad.
She does manage to break through, picked up 5 points for a Mini of Madison Grand Slam. Sequin Destroyer has been released from the penalty box and has made her way through the pack.
We almost had an official takedown with Wipeout Scout almost wiping out Zedork. That would have been unfortunate.
Oh, bad for everybody involved, I would think that.
I've got a couple shout outs here to some folks on the Res Dolls. To Glock, lined up there for the Res Dolls. Tattoos. Woo! Tattoos. Also, to Res Dolls Pretty Reckless, somebody votes you the most valuable coach.
From the Plan B Jammer Line, Susie Homewrecker going to work for the Quad Squad with Shenanigans jamming for the Res Dolls, getting to lead jam status once again as the Res Dolls will try to add on to their lead. And it looks like we have a track cut being assessed to Susie Homewrecker. That'll put the Res Dolls on the power jam with a Mini of Madison 5-point Grand Slam earned by Shenanigans.
Shenanigans working our way on trying to get through the pack on the outside, but meeting formidable resistance.
Looks like we've got a bit of a mosh pit melee of blockers on the track right now. For the Quad Squad, Booty Collins, Conan the Librarian, Guacamole, and Super Youper. Res Dolls blockers, Sprout and a Tail, Violet Fire, Glock Ness, and Sassbot.
Shenanigans did make it through for another Mini of Madison Grand Slam. Working away against the pack again, significantly easier time this time, picking up another 5 in the sky points.
And you saw on that one some of the strategy from the Res Dolls where they were trying to set up the pack staying behind. Oh! We have a track cut being assessed to Susie Homewrecker. And that'll put the Res Dolls back on the power jam once again as Susie heads to the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box.
Shenanigans going up against Booty Collins and Guacamole. Does end up getting through, taking up another 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
And the time runs out on that jam, going the full 2 minutes. As we're just over 20 minutes remaining in this one, the score now 193-59. The Reservoir Dolls with a very strong lead right now.
Yeah, that's going to be harder and harder to surmount as the game goes on. 20 minutes is still enough time to make a comeback, but the Quad Squad is going to have to make their moves soon.
On this jam from the Plan B Jammer Line, Mouse getting that running start, getting to lead jam status again, starting on the power jam with Susie Homewrecker currently sitting in the penalty box. Well, standing in the penalty box and skating out of the penalty box.
Be a lot stranger if she got up in the penalty box and skated out of somewhere else entirely.
It is Derby. Strange things happen sometimes.
Mouse here picking up another 5 points with a Mini of Madison Grand Slam.
We have a star pass.
One of a WORT back porch radio star pass.
Hammer Abbey on the receiving end of that star pass from Susie Homewrecker. And that jam getting called off with the Resdolls now crossing the 200-point threshold, 2:03 to 59 with 19 minutes remaining.
We'd like to support some of our sponsors, including Glass Nickel Pizza East. In pizza we trust. Also the High Noon Saloon, voted Madison's favorite live music venue and Madison's favorite place for karaoke.
Back at the action, we have Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Reservoir Dolls with Battle Frog jamming for the Quad Squad.
It looks like a multiplayer block was issued to Call It a Wild, getting sent off into the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box. Lady Hoo-Ha trying to get through the front of the pack. She's got 2 more Quad Squad blockers to get past right now. And that delay gives time for a 4-point pass by Battle Frog for the Quad Squad. While Lady Hoo-Ha gets through, also earns 4 points for the Resdolls.
Looks like Lady Hoo-Ha is going to call off that jam before she and Guacamole get up to the pack without letting the Quad Squad score any more points. So I believe that brings our score up to Reservoir Dolls 207, Quad Squad 63. We have about just under 18 minutes left in this second half of the bout. Like we have Booty Collins up for the Quad Squad and Sprout Tail up for the Res Dolls. Jamming, that is, on the Plan B jammer line. Now Sprout was recycled to the back of the pack by Alligator. But it looks like Booty Collins has come out to take lead jam for the Quad Squad.
And the call-off being requested from the bench, the call-off being made by the jammer there, earning 4 points for the Quad Squad.
And folks, we've got a set of keys that were turned in to the announcer's table here. If you've lost your keys, please come on up, see somebody at the announcer's table regarding that when you get a chance during halftime.
Jam is back in action. Looks like we have Sequin Destroy Her jamming for the Quad Squad.
Going up against Blitz Siren for the Resdolls. Looks like Sequin Destroyer being forced out. Mouse recycling her to the back of the pack.
Yeah, Quad Squad defense did a really good job of keeping Blitz Siren back there and allowing Sequin Destroyer to get through and get that lead jam.
We'll see how the timing goes on this. The jam called off.
Looks like that the Quad Squad got 1 point on that last pass.
Yeah, I was looking, trying to see where did our jam ref go?
I mean, from over here, it looked like she had gotten a point, but didn't quite see the ref signal until just now.
Another shout out here to Carly and her coffee crew. Better late than never. Glad you made it.
All this talk about coffee and pizza and stuff is making me hungry.
Making me hungry too.
So while you're here, be sure to stop by concessions. If you need something to eat or drink, they'll take good care of you.
Yes, indeed they will. Back at the action, we've got Hammer Abbey taking on Lead Jam for the Quad Squad, jamming against Hopscotch for the Reservoir Dolls, who
And
has
Hopscotch got issued a back block penalty, putting the Quad Squad on the power jam. Hammer Abbey getting past Lady Hoo-Ha for the 5-point Mini of Madison Grand Slam.
Hammer Abbey making her way around the track again, fighting against the Reservoir Dolls. Stank Girl, the stench wench. She calls it off.
There's a little bit of jammer strategy there with Hopscotch being in the penalty box, calling off that jam to try to give you the advantage to get Lead Jam again as you go into the next one.
That's right, the Quad Squad will start this bout with just their jammer on the track. It looks like Booty Collins is lining up to be that jammer.
Again, Hopscotch starting in the penalty box for the Res Dolls. See if that running start by Booty Collins works out. She's got strong opposition from the Res Dolls blockers, Sprout and a Tail, Violet Fire, Glock Ness, and Sassbot.
Looks like Hopscotch has been released from the penalty box. Is working on vying for Lead Jam, which she claims. Well, however, Booty Collins is right behind her. Oh.
Both jammers getting to hit the pack right at the same time, but Hopscotch calls that jam off before the Quad Squad can score any points. We've got another shout out to Jezebel O'Kitty. Mission accomplished. So very, very accomplished. Chris and Molly. I'm sure you all understand what that means.
Well, congratulations. Or something.
Let's see, for this jam, we have Sequin Destroyer jamming for the Quad Squad with Blitz Siren jamming for the Reservoir Dolls.
Sequin Destroyer currently tied for leading scorer for the Quad Squad, 25 points for her and for Hammer Abbey. Looks like Lead Jam earned by Blitz Siren for the Res Dolls.
Yeah, it looks like Sequin Destroyer had been cycled back to the back of the pack by the Reservoir Dolls' Jean Lane, giving Blitz all the head start she needed to take Lead Jam.
Res Dolls really stringing that pack out in back, making Sequin go all the way back.
Battle Frog getting sent to the box for the Quad Squad.
It looks like Blitz Siren was sent to the penalty box.
In fact, there are only 2 blockers on the field for the Reservoir Dolls.
Now Glockness getting
Make
sent
that.
back to the penalty box with the failure to reform.
Oh, Blitz Siren back on the track, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, gets through the pack. Sequin Destroyer getting through on her scoring pass, picking up another 4 points on that pass.
Our penalty box crew of Keister Bunny, Brazzle Dazzle, and Irene Adler getting a workout right now.
No kidding.
4 points added on to the total by Sequin Destroyer for the Quad Squad. And it looks like another 4 points earned by Blitz Siren.
Jammers matching each other points for points here. Each pass, no lead jammer.
And time expires on that jam. We're at 10:30 remaining. It looks like your score 219 to 83 for the Res Dolls.
Another shout out here to Stacy. You are one of my favorite friends. You are awesome. Love, Azik. And now back to the action. We've got Lady Hoo-Ha up against Hammer Abbey. Both fighting against packs in green and black.
Lady Hoo-Ha currently the leading scoring jammer for the Resdolls at 62 points. She earns lead jam for the Resdolls, and she will try to add on to that total.
And Hammer Hammer, he's still wrestling with the Resdolls defense. It's like, oh.
Big knockdown on the inside of the track. It's a fast game, hard-hitting action, and sometimes we get knocked around a little bit. So I'll just take a moment here, make sure everything's all right. Our EMT's coming out onto the track. Looks like Hammer Abby's getting up, skating off the track.
Looks like she's coming off with a smile on her face right now.
She's smiling, but might have gotten a little bit of a...
Well, we do. This is why we always have EMTs on hand. This is a full contact sport, and we take as many precautions as we can to make sure there are no injuries, but sometimes things get a little rough.
They do. And that's, again, why we have the medical crew on hand. We thank them for everything that they do for roller derby, looking out for our skaters and our officials, just in case something should happen.
Definitely good to see her be able to get off the track under her own power after all that.
That is very true.
Getting back to the action, we have Booty Collins taking lead jam for the quad squad. She is jamming against Shenanigans on the Resdolls team.
Booty Collins engaging the pack. The blockers for the Resdolls, Sprout and a Tail, Violet Fire, Glock, Ness, and Sasspot. She calls off that jam, earning 3 points, keeping the Resdolls off the board.
Lining up here on the Plan B jammer line. Looks like we have Mouse jamming for the Resdolls. And Girl Friday is up for the quad squad.
5 seconds displayed in the air by Misinformed. The whistle goes. Oh, Mouse was going to try to sneak to the outside, got forced out. It looks like a no pass, no penalty, so she, even though she's through first, does not have lead jam. That was earned by Girl Friday, who calls it off, quickly keeping Mouse from scoring any points.
Looks like that leaves our score at Reservoir Dolls 224, Quad Squad 86, with just under 8 minutes left in this bout.
That was one of those situations where even though Mouse was forced out of bounds, if the skater that forces her out either goes out or goes down, effectively becomes out of play, then Mouse can re-enter the track in front of her, but in that case she forfeits her opportunity to get lead jam because, again, no pass, no penalty.
Yep. Smart play by Mouse. Back at this jam, we have, looks like Battle Frog jamming for the quad squad. She has picked up a penalty and is heading to the penalty box.
And Hopscotch earning lead jam status for the Resdolls. Already back around to the pack, trying to add on to the Resdolls total. Hopscotch currently standing at 35 jammer points.
Just finally getting by Slayhound there. picking up 5 points for a Mini of Madison Grand Slam.
And this right now is kind of a combination of trying to add points and take time off of that clock right now. The Res Dolls in control of that.
Well, Battle Frog back on the track through the pack, but the jam gets called before she can pick up any points. Looks like 2 points picked up by Hopscotch on that last pass.
And we've got another shout out for Flo. I believe that means Friends of the Lower Wisconsin Riverway. Flo, were y'all ready for this? Thank you for all you guys and gals do.
Looks like we do have a Triple M 2-minute promise official timeout.
I did see Dude Bro coming from the box back onto the track, which gave me a bit of a hint. I just checked the whiteboard. Busta Crimes has fouled out of this game.
Yeah, it looks like Busta has collected 7 penalties. When you get 7 penalties, you are ejected from the game or fouled out of the game. It's a little bit different than an ejection, I believe.
Yeah.
And that
Ejection
takes
is
something a little more serious.
Yes.
Kind of fouling out. At this time, I'd like to thank a few of our sponsors. Hometown Pilates, fitness the way nature intended. Corrective exercise for peak performance. Thank you to Hometown Pilates. Also, a sponsor, Ian's Pizza, if you're hungry. Ian's Pizza, 2 downtown locations offering carryout and delivery. Salad, pizza, vegan and gluten-free options at ianspizza.com. Here to help, one slice at a time.
Actually, I'm happy to say that if anyone comes to visit Milwaukee sometime, there are a couple of Ian's Pizza locations there as well.
That's right. Ian's, it's all over now.
Slowly expanding their grasp and influence over the pizza world.
It looks like we have an official review taking place right now. It looks like probably about the events that took place in the penalty box.
That penalty box is getting a lot of action tonight. That Monkey Bar Gym penalty box.
Yeah, that thing
Monkey
is...
Bar Gym. Where Derby girls work out to be strong enough for Derby. At Monkey Bar Gym Madison, we understand both high-level athletic performance and physical limitations. We've trained professional athletes and weekend warriors, firefighters and grandmothers, carpenters and cancer survivors. 1876 East Washington Avenue, Madison. Check out the Monkey Bar Gym. Hopefully these skaters won't be spending too much time in the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box.
Hopefully
Yeah,
not.
Monkey Bar Gym, great place to visit. Monkey Bar Gym penalty box,
Not so
less
much
so.
what you want to do for your team.
Still a cool place. Just may not want to make going there your goal.
That's right. And for your team, you want to score more of those Mini of Madison Grand Slams versus going to the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box. Mini of Madison, now with more handles to love on the new Mini hardtop 4-door. Keep it mini at 310 West Beltline Highway. And check out the Mini of Madison tent, located right over by the bathrooms in between turns 1 and 2, right around turn 2. We used to number the turns, I remember, back in the good old days, but I won't get into a lot of the good old days stuff that we used to do.
Yeah, we do not discuss minors anymore.
Yep, that's right. The rules used to include minors, where the referees had to keep track of 4 minors that each Derby skater would accrue. And when she got that 4th minor, she'd be then sent to the penalty box. Well, that went away a few years back, and now they just are able to focus a little bit more on those serious penalties. Any penalty you're called on will get you a minute in the penalty box.
And I can pretty much tell you the referees celebrated the day when minors went away. You know what celebrating looked like? Looked like this.
Well,
Very
those
serious.
referees, they do pay attention to a lot of things out there on the track. So 4 penalties for each skater and accumulations of that is difficult to keep track of.
By the way, the review was just confirming that Busta Crimes did have 7 penalties and thus was disqualified from the game. As we're back in action, Sequin Destroyer earning lead jam status for the Quad Squad. Route and a tail getting sent to the penalty box. In the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box, getting a little more attention tonight as the Quad Squad goes on the power jam. And a 5-point Mini of Medicine Grand Slam earned by Sequin Destroyer.
Well, this is just the kind of thing that the Quad Squad needs to make some of those points late in the game here.
That's one thing you really have to appreciate right now is that regardless of what's on that screen on the wall behind us, the Quad Squad's still out there working hard all the way through the 60 minutes of action here tonight. You can hear the bench to our left getting fired up as another 5-point Mini of Madison Grand Slam earned by Sequin Destroyer as she calls off that jam. As we're under 5 minutes to play, now stands at 231 to 101 with the Res Dolls in the lead.
Lining up on the Plan B jammer line, we have Mouse jamming for the Res Dolls and Girl Friday jamming for the Quad Squad. Jam begins. Skaters taking a little bit of time to kind of get going, plan their strategy, psych each other out.
Mouse was trying to sweep around the inside, got forced out, delaying her progress. Meanwhile, lead jam status earned by Girl Friday for the Quad Squad. A forearm penalty being issued to wipe out Scout. She'll get sent to the Monkey Bar Gym penalty box. Girl Friday being forced to call off the jam with Mouse right in her shadow.
Yeah, given unobstructed space, Mouse is one of the fastest jammers I've seen come through here, so it is not a rare sight to see her start catching up if she's not lead jam.
Yeah, if she gets into the wide open, you will see pigtails in her wake. Yes, I've been waiting to say that tonight. From the Plan B jammer line, Blitz Siren getting through to lead jam for the Res Dolls, with Booty Collins jamming for the Quad Squad.
But Siren just barely getting through the pack, scoring those 4 points, calling it off.
Booty Collins managing to get 2 points for the Quad Squad.
Looks like that was actually 3 points.
Oh,
a quick amendment.
Indeed.
That does bring our score up to Reservoir Dolls 235, Quad Squad 104, with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in this bout.
We got Shenanigans up against Sequin Destroy Her. Sequin taken down by the pack while Shenanigans gets out to a lead here. Your lead jammer for the Res Dolls.
Looks like a bit of a split blocking set for the Quad Squad. That jam getting called off with 0 points scored on both sides as we're under 2 minutes. And we get a timeout called by the Quad Squad with 1:53 remaining, that being their second team timeout of the game.
As we're gearing up for the halftime here, I want to remind you that we do have shout-outs available for purchase down at the merch table, along with all other way cool derby gear.
I've got a shout out here that I think was written a little while back, but it says, "Geez, Glock, don't kill her." I think Glock probably hit somebody pretty hard, as is the case. I know I've gotten hit by her a few times, as well as other skaters.
Speaking of the upcoming intermission, we will have a special musical performance. Megan Rose, who was our anthem singer earlier, she will be back to provide some musical entertainment coming up at the intermission.
Be sure to check out Flow, the Friends of the Lower Wisconsin Riverways Hammerhead fish over there.
Five seconds in the air from misinformed. Who blows the whistle, puts us back into action. Good to see Hammer Abby back out on the track for the quad squad.
Yeah, she is tough.
Yes, she is.
And the Heat 5-0 jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. She just picks up lead jammer status.
That is her first jam of the night.
Looks like the Heat's going to get knocked out on the inside, calling off the jam.
As we're just over a minute remaining. So we'll at least get one more in here. Again, if the period clock runs out and we still have an active jam, we will continue to skate until that jam is concluded, either by call-off or 2 minutes going by.
We've got Alligator and Blitz Siren lined up on the Plan B jammer line. Plan B, Madison's favorite gay bar and dance club. Tonight's after-party destination.
Looks like Alligator's taking a lead jam for the quad squad. Looks like we still have Blitz Siren working her way through the pack for the Res Dolls.
Blitz Siren going up against
Alligator making it look easy. Picking up another 5 points with a Mini of Madison Grand Slam for the quad squad.
Ooh, nice little hop there by Allie through the pack again.
And Black 27 is going to get sent to the box with a back block, putting Alligator on the power jam.
Alligator getting a little help from Sequin Destroyer against the Reservoir Dolls up there. Sassbot, Jean Lane, and Mouse trying to hold Allie back.
You'll see that the period clock has expired. We have 55 seconds remaining on this jam. You got to figure that Allie is going to skate this one on and on and on here. Allie has made the WORT back porch radio star pass, handing it off to Sequin Destroyer.
Sequin still holding on to the star helmet panty.
Yeah, definitely hard to get your hands up to your helmet to
That's
put
right.
a new star on when you're battling through the pack.
And it
And
looks
we have
like
a back block was issued to Sequin Destroyer. She will get sent to the penalty box. Blitz Siren on the jam and actively scoring for the Res Dolls. And our 2 minutes of jam time expires. The period clock is out. We will get some math confirmation from our scorekeepers. Right now, as it stands, your total, the Reservoir Dolls 244 and the Quad Squad 119.
And let's hear it for the Reservoir Dolls. This first bout's game winner.
Stick around. We've got a little bit of an intermission halftime here, and then we'll have more derby actions as the Unholy Rollers take on the Vaudeville Vixens.
Again, folks, don't forget this break in the action. In addition to our intermission entertainment, this is a great time to go visit the merchandise area just inside of the entrance. Purchase merchandise for your favorite teams or for the league. There are also custom shirts. You can get a shirt printed up with your name and number or someone's name and number on it. Go buy merch, support the Mad Rollin Dolls. And looking at the board, it has been marked final now. Once again, your final in our first game of the night. The Reservoir Dolls 244, the Quad Squad 119. Just looking over some of the stats here, Lady Hoo-Ha, the leading jammer scorer for the Res Dolls, earning 67 points on the night. Sequin Destroyer, your leading scorer for the Quad Squad, with 48.
And as we clear the track here, I would like to announce our